Hi everyone and welcome to my review of Oliver the Eighth from 1934, directed by Lloyd and produced by Hal Roach. So yes, we are back once again, ready to discuss Laurel and Hardy on the channel. This time around, a horror comedy from them, and one that is perfect to watch and talk about, of course, during the Halloween season, and that's why I thought I'd watch it this month again, and yeah, just discuss this film. Of course, it's the one that's very spooky, very scary, and it's part of the DVD that contains, obviously, the Laurel and Hardy murder case as well. Murder in the Air is the DVD, what it's called, so it has a few of the horror shorts and all this. So yeah, it's really cool to kind of watch this and talk about it today. So there'll be a spoiler warning for this discussion. If you haven't seen this film, I should be recommend seeing it first and then come back to this video, and we can go from there. We can talk about this film and all things Laurel and Hardy in the comments. So yes, with all that said, let's discuss my thoughts on this film. And yeah, this is the one that I do love once again, and yeah, it's just a very kind of eerie film, but also quite hilarious. Very different though. It's a very, you could say, the middle of the film and the main kind of gags that run throughout, a lot of the film when they arrive, at this mansion, it's very bizarre, very, very different for Laurel and Hardy humour. It's definitely a film overall that doesn't have as much of the slapstick really until the last 10 minutes or so, and it is also a longer one in general for a short, so 27 minutes, and yeah, it's a really unique film, and I think it's definitely not one of the very best Laurel and Hardy shorts for me, but it is a hilarious film once again, and it's a really just a unique one. I love how I would take the kind of fact that it is quite unique in their filmography, and how they didn't really make too many horror-based ones and shorts, and this is one of them, and I think it's just great for that, and Busch as well, in this film, Jack Barty, and of course Laurel and Hardy. That's the main four cast members, and it's just a really cool setup as well. I think when we start off the film, you have obviously this kind of ad, in the paper, and it has this kind of wealthy widow, played by, of course, Busch, Mrs. Fox, and she's basically looking for a new husband, and we learn a bit into the film that she's looking for an Oliver to kind of come to the house so she can kill him. Once again, because she's been doing this to the 7 other Olivers after what happened with her actual previous husband, and what happened there. So she kind of gets revenge on these Olivers. And this is a perfect plot point really, and it kind of allows Hardy to be the one being accepted, because he is of course called Oliver, and everyone follows from there when they get to the mansion, and Laurel comes along as well, even though he wasn't meant to, and he wants his share of the money, since obviously beforehand we do have that great kind of sequence. One of my favourite parts of this film is really the opening, and we have another classic line, mixing up the lines with Laurel, and saying his skinner and scrape a chin and all this hilarious stuff, and of course they have both of them kind of having letters ready, and Hardy saying "May the best man win," and he kind of offers to post both of the letters, including Laurel's, and we see that great moment when Hardy looks at the camera, and of course he's up to no good, and he doesn't post Laurel's letter, so that obviously leads to Laurel coming along and saying he wants his share, since he found out what happened, and just hilarious stuff there. I really love the opening sequence. It's just laugh out loud, and just Hardy there, really kind of deceiving Laurel. It's so well done, and just really hilarious moment there. And when they get to the mansion, this is the main bulk of the film, and we have this kind of very bizarre butler called Jitters, and played by Jack Barty, and basically we learn very soon into the film that he's kind of doing a lot of strange stuff, and it's just really funny how we have this butler kind of a lot of the stuff that he does, for example, putting the coats, hanging the coat up, serving the soup, playing with the cards, it's all kind of not there, it's on his mind, and it's just kind of the way in which we get the reactions out of Laurel and Hardy, especially Laurel, because Laurel kind of at one point plays along with him, and then it kind of shocks Hardy as well, because Laurel was actually invested in this. He gets so invested and wrapped up that he kind of plays along, and it's just so funny, this, and especially when they're kind of he's playing with the cards, and he says show it to him, to try and show it to Hardy, and Hardy's reaction there is so funny as well, and I think definitely a lot of the middle of the film relies on this type of comedy. You could say it goes on a bit too long, perhaps in places. This kind of main recurring gag or running gag, and I think it's really the last 10 minutes where we get a bit more into the kind of the slapstick in its true form, in this, and the bumbling nature of Laurel and Hardy again, and I think it's very interesting the way it is structured, how we do spend most of the time, at the table and stuff, or around this, with with the butler and of course Mae Busch as well, and just the conversations are very investing. I think just Mae Busch, as the villain of the film, is so scary. In this, just plays it so well, and I love the moment as well when we have the butler kind of warning, Ollie and Stan there, kind of about the what was actually going on and how she does plan to actually kill, Hardy and cut his throat, in the night, and that is when the film changes, obviously, and we have them, kind of taken aback by this, and then they do plan to kind of stay awake the whole night because they know what's going to happen here, and that is my favourite part of the film, that final kind of 10 minutes or so. We have them in the room and taking turns, of course, kind of trying to stay awake. Laurel, of course, failing on point, and Hardy realising this. And that, of course, leads to the kind of gold brick and candle, kind of idea from Hardy, and this really hilarious because it does, obviously, as we know, lead to Hardy getting, kind of knocked, and then he goes onto the chair, and Laurel gets locked in the cupboard. All this stuff, the way it's kind of put together, this whole entire sequence is definitely the best part of the film. We have the kind of warm, charming moments with Laurel and Hardy, in bed, and kind of just bickering, of course, and them trying to keep each other awake in that sense, and as well, the funniest moment probably of the film is when we have Laurel kind of seeing Hardy's foot, at the bottom of the bed, and he says, "Don't look now." There's a man's hand, and the way he says it, it's just so funny, and he's getting the gun out and shooting Hardy's foot. The best part of the film, definitely. A legendary sequence here, and as well, the way it leads to the kind of final moments, that final scene where we have, of course, Mae Busch, with a knife and coming up to Hardy's throat there, and just the moment when it's very close, so it's very tense there, and we've got, obviously, Laurel locked in the cupboard, and we do then learn that this was, a complete dream, it's a nightmare, and Hardy was having, and that is the end of the film. He wakes up in relief, and it's just a very scary film, this, and I think even though we know that it was a dream at the end, that is a very, kind of realistic depiction of a dream, of a nightmare there. We have someone, your friend perhaps, kind of locked away, kind of in a room that can't get to you, and he's trying to get out, and then something's about to happen to you, and you're kind of helpless, and then the dream ends before anything actually happens. So it's a very, that's a real kind of realistic depiction of a nightmare there. So I think that was perfectly done. The way it kind of ends there, and it is very dreamlike, leading up to that reveal there. So it's a great kind of sequence there, and the ending itself. I loved how this was a dream, and it's just because it is such a bizarre, film, this one at times, and it does make sense that they would kind of have, having this dream, and it's just a really, great short overall. I think the kind of the flow of this is very different. It's not necessarily, I have issues with the flow. It's just very different because we don't have a lot of, as I say, till the final 10 minutes, a lot of slapstick, and it is more relying on just this bizarre type of humour. And it's just a very different short, at times, and the fact, Mae Busch is playing this kind of villain as well, so it's really different. Definitely one that is kind of unique in the their filmography, but I absolutely love this. The location, the way that the sets of this, the actual mansion itself, the kind of the spooky atmosphere it has, and it's just a great film to watch. Halloween for that, and also the scary performance from Mae Busch, and the kind of bizarre, likable performance from kind of Jack Barty as the butler, and just the opening as well. Classic kind of normal Laurel and Hardy stuff to kind of reel you in, and then when you get to the mansion, it's kind of this real atmospheric piece, and the ending as well, really scary, and just that relief as well after the end, kind of ending moment with the fact that he wakes up. There's definitely not as much kind of flowing slapstick, consistently for this short compared to different Laurel and Hardy films. It's very different, as I say, and it's not a film that is consistently kind of building on each piece, kind of in the sense of the traditional slapstick, but it is, for what this film does, and the kind of unique nature of its comedy, and the setting, and just the enjoyability of seeing, this kind of plot, kind of quite an epic grand plot here, and it's one that does lead to, a hilarious last 10 minutes, and this whole kind of nightmarish feel, of course. I think I definitely, consider this one that I love, and have great memories of seeing this as well, and just the spooky atmosphere to this, and the whole kind of plot here, and the way it escalates, and the actual scare factor of Mae Busch as well, and real tense kind of final moments there, with the knife, and Laurel being locked in the cupboard. Definitely combines the horror elements with the comedy really well here, and overall definitely a great Laurel and Hardy short. Not one of the very best. I definitely think the middle portion could have been there's definitely some moments that went on a bit too long. Here and there, could have been slightly shorter there. It's kind of a bit definitely went on with a kind of whole kind of gags with the butler. Not to say that I didn't laugh at it. I do find it's really funny, but it's definitely something that could have been a little bit shorter there, and then we could have had more after that. In the kind of the final sequences. But I think the beginning and the end, parts of this especially are absolutely hilarious, and I do love the entire film. Everything in between. It's just the middle especially is very different, and it's more about the atmosphere and the kind of bizarre nature of this. It's not the traditional kind of classic slapstick in that sense, but it is one that I do love, and it's a unique film, a horror comedy that is just great to watch at the Halloween period, and any time of the year obviously. But yeah, it's great to see this around this time. So overall, I absolutely love this film, and I think it's just definitely quite a magical film at times. And seeing Laurel and Hardy, together in the bed at the end, it's a really warm, kind of charming sequence there, and just classic Laurel and Hardy, stuff here. And overall, my rating for this film is a 93%. So extremely high score from me. Not one of the very best shorts, I wouldn't say, but it's definitely among obviously the many great kind of shorts that they made, and it's just the one that has that kind of unique horror element to it, and it's just really cool to see again, and seeing around the Halloween period was great, and I love this film for the performances, kind of bizarre nature of it, and just definitely got some absolutely hilarious moments, especially the moment when Laurel sees Hardy's foot. That is probably the funniest moment, and his reaction there. And also just when he's locked in the cupboard and he's saying she's going to cut your throat. Again, Laurel in this one is just standout, and all the supporting characters as well. With Jack Barty and Busch as well. Just really really great performances here, and just the combination as well. I love the kind of duo of them. He's quite bizarre. He's kind of her butler, her servant, and then he does go behind her back and actually reveal what's the plans to Laurel and Hardy. So that is quite unique in the way it's done, and as well just the way she will not stop anything. She does kind of go to the rooms and get in and kind of try to cut Hardy's throat. Just the nature of this being nightmare, all being a dream. It's so well done for me, and it's just I do love this trope in cinema when it's done well, especially comedies. And I think this one once again it's a great Laurel and Hardy short. I think at times slightly lacking something in the middle to be even higher, but again it's a great film. I absolutely love this throughout. It's just hilarious, and a warm, charming film again, and one that is very relaxing to watch, even though it's very tense and kind of scary at times. So that's my thoughts on this film. What do you think? It'd be great to hear your thoughts on this film. Especially around this time, it being a horror comedy from Laurel and Hardy, and it's just the one that I've seen quite a few times over the years, and great memories of this, and just a very consistently kind of investing film, and definitely at times, especially in the last 10 minutes, and the opening as well. Truly legendary Laurel and Hardy caper. It'd be great to discuss this film more. Laurel and Hardy's coming up soon. We'll be talking as well about the Laurel and Hardy murder case, this month, and that'd be great to do another horror, classic from them, and it'd be great to discuss that film. And today, again, to hear your thoughts. How does it rank for you? Compared to different Laurel and Hardy, shorts, films in general, and it'd be great to discuss all this in the comments, and all things Laurel and Hardy. As always, take care, and thanks for watching.